Hello everybody and welcome back to some more FTB Inferno. Today, we're going to be finally making our AE2 system. Now for those of you who've been following the series, you know that I already have a dimensional storage. So you might be wondering, why do I need to make an ME system? The answer is simple. I need autocrafting. Because from this point onwards within the series, when we're getting into these more advanced areas, it's going to be a lot of repetition and a lot of repeat stuff to get more stuff and menial stuff. And I'd like to automate that. Even though I didn't want to automate it before, now I want to automate it. It's all about trusting the process. Oh, and also for those of you who've been following the series, hi, I got out of the overworld. So then for our first objective in this, we've actually done a little bit of AE2 in the past for various means, but the biggest means that I had been using it for was to get the laser nodes from Laser.io to kind of rework my power system, which, you know, did all that in between episodes. It's working much better now, but that's why we've already gotten these first two, and their recipes are a little bit interesting as they're not the normal ones. We now need the engineer's workbench from immersive engineering, so a little bit more annoying. And for this last one right here, which we still had yet to have, we need to get ourselves Certus quartz, a redstone flux coil, and printed silicone. Now, I already mass made a bunch of printed silicone in the past, just so that way we could get that going. But I do want to get more of a silicone automation going down later on. But for right now, we can settle for this. Redstone flux coil is easy. It's just 2 redstone and some gold. In fact, I could probably just go ahead and stack it up on that. But then the Certus quartz, that one is a little bit more complicated to get. In order for us to actually get this, what we would normally need to do is we would need to kind of locate some buds in it in a meteor, but that's in the overworld, so we can't do that. There's a bug on my screen. The other way that we could do it is by using our mixing cauldron with some lava and a bunch of redstone, vile dust, and nether quartz, and we get just 1 dust. But even that is still not good enough. No. The way that we're going to do it, and the way that we have been doing it, is by utilizing our mob farm, because somewhere on the mob farm, right here, down here, we actually get Certus quartz dust. And once you have the Certus quartz dust, it becomes even more easy to get, and let me show you how. So, if we take one of these Certus quartz dust, and take 1 piece of sand, we can go ahead and combine these 2 together, and then we get ourselves this Certus quartz seed. Now take note, these things won't despawn, and this thing is currently at 0%. Now, normally what you'd do is you would throw these in water and wait for the magic to happen. But in Inferno, that takes forever. So instead, we want to do it the Inferno way and throw it in some blood, because Inferno. Okay, let's check again. Oh, there we go. Okay, so after it reaches 100%, it turns into the full Certus quartz crystal. Turns into 2 from the 1 dust. So, if we go ahead and then take this baby over to our immersive engineering crusher right here, and then just throw one of those things in there. I'm only going to throw 1 because y'all should get the point. We then get 1 back. If I were to throw both of these in there, we would then get 2 back. If I were then to mix both of those quartz dusts with 2 sand, we'd then get 4 seeds. I think y'all understand how this becomes easier once you have 1. Because now, with just a little bit of time, sand, and dust, we have ourselves infinite amounts of these Certus quartz crystals. It's beautiful. So now we can go ahead and just combine these babies right here, and then we get ourselves our printed silicone, and that's that line done. There we go. Well, that gets us even more silicone. That's nice. Oh wait, no, it wasn't silicone. I was a fool. Well, that part was fun. So the next part is actually pretty simple if I actually threw it in here. If I didn't throw it in here, then this is gonna be a bit annoying. Oh gosh, it looks like I didn't throw it in here. Oh no. Did I keep some of it around? Okay, it would appear that I did not keep some of it around. So that is unfortunate then, because the next thing that we're gonna need is gonna be this energy acceptor. It's not hard to get, we just need to mix quartz, 4 quartz glass with copper and iron. But we could also get it from the mob farm. I'm disappointed that I didn't keep any of it. Did I, like, keep any of it in here? No, I cleared that out. Dang it! Well, we can go ahead and just grab ourselves 4 of our iron and Bada bing, bada boom, there we go. We got ourselves the energy acceptor. So the next thing we're actually gonna need to grab is gonna be this charger. And there's actually a very special reason as to why we're gonna need this thing. So, if we continue on with this, you see this stuff right here? This is called charged Certus quartz. We actually get this by throwing, there was another one there, but we get this by throwing the Certus quartz into here, and that'll actually get us this charged stuff. But seeing as I already have some, I won't need to do that for the meantime. So next up, what we're actually gonna need is gonna be to get some of this Fluix dust. We get this by throwing nether quartz, redstone, and Certus quartz into water. Just to ensure we can make this work, I'm gonna throw all these into the corner. And then after that, it should just converts it right away. And there we go. We got ourselves some of the dust. After that, we just do the same thing that we did for the quartz, that way we can get the crystals.
Later.
So now that we've gotten ourselves the Fluix crystals, the next thing we need to do is we need to make ourselves this ME class cable, which can be made through these. However, we do still need to get ourselves this quartz fiber. That way, we can then go ahead and make these from just 2 of them. I want to make sure I always have 1 of these, so in fact, I am going to go ahead and just throw these back over into the crusher right now, so that way I won't accidentally use them for anything wrong. There we go. So, now that we have ourselves the cables, it's actually nice because the quest reward gives us smart cables, which actually shows us the amount of channels we have. So, after that, we're going to want ourselves this ME controller. Now, the controller is actually very easy to get, as it's just going to take ourselves the energy acceptor we just made, engineering processor, which is just the diamond variant of these things right here combined together, and skystone blocks, which I've already made, and also the crystals, which I just got rid of. Alrighty, got the crystals, so now we go ahead and get ourselves our controller, baby. There we go. So then after that, in order for us to be able to access it, oh, and we also get an energy cell from that, that's nice. So in order for us to be able to access it, we're gonna need to get ourselves a terminal. That's supposed to come after this next part, but I feel like that these go better together. So we're gonna start with that. So we do actually have one of the cores that we are going to need in order to get this thing, which is going to be the formation core, but we also need to get ourselves the annihilation core, which is the one that takes the normal core, so that's good. I'm pretty sure I actually have both of these. Yeah, both of these are a part of my mob farm. So then after that, we already have almost everything we need to get ourselves the standard terminal. So then after that, we really just need to make ourselves this panel, if it'll actually give us the proper one. Pop that all together, there we go. Then we can go ahead and find ourselves the standard terminal. There we go. We don't actually need the rest of these panels anymore. And then we could make ourselves the crafting terminal. But yeah, that's going to take the calculation, which actually I have everything for it. So there we go. Now we got ourselves crafting terminal. Awesome. So now, not only do we have the normal system, but we can now actually access it. But we'd still need a way to actually, use this thing as a storage system. Well, unfortunately, as a matter of fact, that doesn't exist in this mod pack. So what you would normally do is you would use storage drives, but those have been disabled in FTB Inferno. So yeah, that's not what we do. And to be quite frank, AE2 in this mod really isn't used much more for than, well, what we're using it for, autocrafting. But how are we going to access those items if we can't store them? Well, that's where this little baby comes in, called the storage bus. The storage bus is probably one of the best things I have. I have one. Why do I have one? Wait, did I get this from Mob Farm? Wait, Mob Farm? Oh my gosh, I get them from Mob Farm. Oh my gosh. What? I was expecting to have to go ahead and make those, because in order to make them, I'd need this interface, which meant I'd need more cores. All of this I get from Mob Farm. I love Mob Farm. Mob Farm good. Wish could automate Mob Farm. Can't automate Mob Farm, but Mob Farm good. Probably why you can't automate Mob Farm. Why am I talking like that? Okay, so now we have ourselves the storage buses, and we have ourselves everything else. really all that's gonna take for right now is just set this baby up. So I can go ahead and take this baby right here, which should have the power in it right there. Then we're gonna want to go ahead and put this energy cell right here. And yeah, it is intaking the power. Okay, I might need more of these or alternate sources of power. But for right now, this should hopefully be good, as this won't take very much power. So now what we can do is we can just go ahead and put our controller right here. And yeah, after that, this battery, this is literally just a battery. It's just gonna hold a buttload of energy. So probably shouldn't have used the dense one, because like, yeah, that thing's just like a buttload of power that I'm really not gonna need. But you know what? It's fine. After that, we can go ahead and just slap our terminal pretty much anywhere we want. We can just go ahead and slap that right there. That is the right thing, but that's not the way we want to go. But it works! It shouldn't work! I don't like it facing that way. I want it to face other way. Guess we are just gonna have to go ahead and give this baby a little hand. There we go. Plop that baby right here. And now we have it facing the correct way. Yippee! Okay then. So, actually, you know what? Since I'm gonna be able to make them, let's go ahead and pop into here and grab ourselves our smart cables. That way we can actually carry more channels, because to make a light, loose explanation of this, the way that AE2 works is that you have so many channels carried from these smart cables, as well as the controller themselves. Each side has a set amount of channels. And these guys, the bigger the cable, the more they can actually carry. Whereas the small cables, I think, carry about 8. So this is better. Now that we've got these babies, we're gonna want to go out like this, about 3. If this works. If this does not work, I'm gonna have to get a little janky with this, because it's gonna have to move all around. But if what I'm planning works, this should be good. Alrighty, so here is my plan. We've got ourselves these babies right here that everybody knows, called the entangled blocks. If we slap this one right here, which is configured to my drawer controller over there, now we have ourselves an entangled block which acts as my drawer controller. So if we were to go underneath here and then slap that thing on, that will now use up another channel, but I can now observe my drawer wall. Now here's where things get really interesting. If I go ahead and take this entangled binder and then entangle it to my dimensional storage, if we are in range, we should be able to entangle this block. And yeah, there we go. So now, if I connect this one right here, we now can observe everything within both of them. Oh, that is beautiful. But as you can see right here, we have a third entangled block. That is because we do have a third storage house that we have not really been using very much. And that is my storage, well, it's literally just called the storage house, or I think it's called the warehouse from my mine colonies, which I can go ahead and then just bind right here, which I did kind of make a little rudimentary thing with this crafting terminal from my Pretty Pipes, I think this is called. Yeah, Pretty Pipes. So we should see something very similar to that. But this is the one that I'm most worried about because it is the furthest away. So we wouldn't be able to reach it most likely as that one. But we can actually reach it. I'm genuinely surprised about that. I wonder if they disabled the limit. That's definitely a question for later. But it does look like, yeah, it looks like that our drain on power is not significant enough to the point where this is going to affect anything. If I go ahead and try to find, like, say, oh, yeah, my ancient debris. Well, I know I don't have ancient debris in the drawer wall, and I do not believe, yeah, I don't have them in here. So that is proof that those things are connecting properly. Now that we have those things set up, now what we need is the auto-crafting. This is gonna be a bit interesting, to say the least. So, in order for us to do auto-crafting, we need to get this crafting coprocessor and also a crafting storage unit, which can be influenced by the storage components. we will do that in a second. First and foremost, the co-processing unit, which is just going to take this crafting unit, which means we're going to need to get a couple more processors. So I'm going to get everything for those babies, and then we're going to be right back.
5 minutes later.
Alrighty, I should have everything, so now we can go ahead and then make ourselves 2 crafting units. Then we can make one of them into our crafting co-processor. Now the next one, on the other hand, because we need to use this in tandem with a crafting storage, is going to be a bit more difficult, because for any of the crafting storages, we would need these NEK storage components, which are, they make a process if I want larger ones, but the larger one I have, the more stuff I can have in one recipe. So that'd be very good. What's the most ideal one for that, though, but the 256K one? But that would obviously take a lot. Except, I know a way. All we have to do is complete a certain quest, and that's why we have this thing right here called the Matter Condenser, which is a very simple recipe. All we have to do is hook this baby up to some water. Now, I don't know if it will work like this or if I can just pipe it in, but what we want to do is we want it to condense into singularities, and it looks like it will not work like that. That is unfortunate. So then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hook this up to some pipes. Now, what we can do is we can just go ahead and throw this fluid high extraction module into here, and now it should, if I go ahead and extract down, no, we want to extract from the water, and there we go. Now water is going in, and then that should, it should work. It normally works. I mean, maybe it's also because it's like not particularly a lot. I know what I did wrong. I can't use this thing unless I have a storage component already. So I'm gonna need to make them anyways. Crap. I made a few changes. As you can clearly see, I've moved the eternal water block over here. There's actually a different eternal water block that is pumping that over to here. We also have our cobblestone generator pumping stone in from 2 fronts, which has increased it dramatically. We also actually ended up needing a 64K ME storage component, so I had to make that. So this took forever, but we've managed to get it. Our singularity is now ours. I'll probably figure out something to do with that in between episodes, though. So for right now, we don't need to worry about that. What we do need to worry about is getting this 256K storage component, which we can now mix with our crafting unit. And there we go. We now have all of our components ready for a crafting CPU. Then after that, the last 2 things that are required for auto crafting is going to be these 2 things right here. The molecular assembler, holy crap, I had a stroke there, and the ME pattern provider. Both of which are going to require a couple of crafting tables and stuff like that, and also most importantly these things. So we're going to do all this inside of our terminal, which actually allows us to still have access to all this, so that is nice. So I just need the crafting table for this one. I'm going to need to go ahead and make 3 of those. Then we can go ahead and make ourselves our assembler, which acts as a crafting table, and also our pattern provider. There we go. Now those things are ready, and this provides us with some patterns, which are what we need in order to actually make the recipes, really. So then what we do is we're going to want to put our crafting coprocessor here and our crafting storage here. And this is what's called a CPU. With every one of these, we can have another recipe going at a time. We can have any recipe we want with this, but we'll only be able to have one at a time. So that sucks. But it doesn't impede on like huge craftings that take earlier recipes. That'll still happen. It's just that I won't have multiple unrelated processes happening at the time. Then we can also go ahead and put this pattern provider here and this molecular assembler right here. And there we go. Our auto crafting is basically done. Does the pattern provider have the upgraded version? Because I know that there is a mod that gives us another version that is stronger. That one is not in this one though. Okay, I know it's in All the Mods 9, but it's not in this one, so we'll just have to deal with that. Then we also actually get ourselves this pattern encoding terminal, which will be very useful because this thing is what actually allows us to set a pattern for things. So what do I want to make for this demonstration? I got the perfect recipe since, well, everything considered today. We're gonna automate Certus quartz seeds, not the growing of them, just the seed itself. Although I could automate their growing. Actually, I think I might do that later. But for right now though, let's go ahead and just make the pattern. And there we go. Those are just ghost blocks, those aren't real. But now what we do is we just throw that into there and it'll make 2 of those from the 1. Now what we can do is we can just go ahead and sort by only craftables and then ask it to make 1. It'll make the 2 and then we can just go ahead and set it to do so. Now, if I was fast enough, I'd be able to see the stuff go into here and then you'd see a little progress meter. But I'm not fast enough to see that. So instead what we're gonna end up seeing is just typing in seed and there we go. We got a Certus quartz seed. I really don't actually need this because I am planning on making the bee. And what the bee is gonna do is it's basically going to just grow the stuff on its own. Because like it'll give us the combs and then it'll make the quartz seed, but it'll also make us some of the dust as well. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I'm also gonna want a Fluix bee, which I'll be able to get from that guy, and a silicone bee, but all that's gonna require a lot of bee breeding and stuff like that, and that's not really for what today's been about. So even though I would like to get these bees sometime soon, we will not have them in today's video. That is except for one, and that is going to be our good old pal, the bloody bee. Now, for those of you who saw last video, you probably noticed that the blood bee would not work because I could not get the hardened blood. Well, that is no longer a problem because thanks to the good old buddies at Feed the Beast Discord server, I was able to find out another way for me to get hardened blood. And that is at this structure right here, which is basically just a giant church. So if we go over to here, we don't really need to worry about those little guys. Because like, okay, well now we need to worry about them. Oh, okay, you're ruining everything. You're a jerk. But here we go. We should be fine now. So if we look right here, you can see we got ourselves a bunch of life essence. But behind here, you can see there we have ourselves the blood block. So with my silk touch pick, hopefully I should be able to mine this. And there we go. We've gotten ourselves the hardened blood that we could not get in the last video. It's beautiful. If I ever break this thing without silk touch, it would evaporate and we would lose everything. But you know what? It's fine. Last thing I want to do today is I want to make it so that way we can have an actual way to keep on auto crafting things for AE2. Because the biggest thing that we need to do is we need these stuff right here, the printed circuits. Well, those are only accessible through our workbench right here, which cannot really be automated in that means. But there is an automatic engineer's workbench. What we need to do is we need to take these steel scaffoldings and then make ourselves a little Mario sign or Wario sign, depending on how you look at it. Then right here in the center, we put ourselves redstone engineering block. Then over here, we can go ahead and put these light engineering blocks here and then also above them. And then we put the heavy ones right back over here. Then we just need to go ahead and make ourselves a little rail going all the way over here. And then we also need these things right here. And then it looks like this is supposed to go over here now. If I did this right, once I whack this, it should work. I did not do it right. Something is clearly amiss. I figured it was gonna be the conveyor belt, and I was correct. So let's go ahead, make that face the correct direction, and now we whack it. And yeah, there we go. Now it's all ready to go. So now all I need to do is I just need to go over here take out the blueprints and also, incidentally, back up the server, because initially when I did this thing, apparently the backup didn't work, but initially when I first made the engineer's workbench, apparently it was bugged in this to where it caused the world to keep crashing once I put the blueprints in. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen here. Alrighty, backup's all done. So now we can go ahead and throw that into there. And no problems. Awesome. And this one's even better because it actually has like a little monitor right here that shows you all the stuff. That is really freaking cool. So once you have the components in here, I'm pretty sure it should just automatically create them. Oh, there's like a tab that I actually have to click. That's not going to affect it, is it? All right, I got all the components to make myself a normal circuit right here. So with all that into there, okay, it's in, but it doesn't work. So if I click this, yeah, now it starts working. Yeah, that is actually somewhat of a problem. Because if it works like that, then that means that I would have to change these things manually, depending on which of these things that I wanted. Which would then mean that I would need more of these. I don't actually know how I'm going to automate this just yet. I'm definitely going to need some more time for that. So, yeah, but there we go. We got ourselves our automated workbench to automate more of these things. So, you know what? I'll figure that out soon. I say GG. So did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last Inferno video where we did evil craft so that way we could take on the Void Worm, the next boss. Bye-bye!